Hi, everybody. Welcome to the live. If you saw the title of the live is When a Man Moves On. So let's talk about it. The conversation today is all about what do you do when the man that you're dating, the man that you're in a relationship with, the man that you love decides to leave you for another woman? What do you do? How do you reconcile that? And how do you cope with those emotions? And even if he doesn't decide to leave you for another woman, another way you can interpret this is, even if you are the other woman, and let's just say the man decides, you know what, I made my decision between you two women, and this is the move that I'm gonna make, right? So let's talk about it. If I'm having a conversation with a client and she's, feeling down, or feeling her self-esteem is feeling a little low, because she's like, I'm in this relationship with this man. I've poured all these years into the relationship with this man, and he has decided to betray my trust and leave me for another woman. Like, how do I reconcile that madness, right? How do I pull myself together? How do I cope with where I am with that information? And so one of the things I try to tell my client is, I want you to really take a step back and think about your situation. And then ask yourself, what did you really lose? Because I think a lot of times as women, when we're starting to think about what we lost, it all boils down to us losing the fantasy, right? Because the family unit, the relationship, the love, the trust, the unity, all of those things that we build up in our mind as women, that we hold on to and that we want to make work, we hold on to them so tightly that when a man betrays our trust for another woman, we often internalize that as, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? How did I make a mistake in this situation? But the reality, hi Garden Gal, but the reality of the situation is, when you really take a step back, what did you really lose? What did you really lose? If you have the strength as a woman to release that man to the streets, or to the woman he has betrayed you with, you have actually taken back so much of your power in the situation, that it will always outweigh whatever it is that you lost. Because what you lost was frivolous. What you built your foundation on, what you built your help on, was frivolous. There's nothing there. There is nothing there. If a man is willing to betray his family, his familial unit, the woman who has poured into him and who has supported him through whatever trials and tribulations he have, and he decides to recklessly abandon that for another woman, well, then what did you lose? A fantasy? What did you lose? An image? What did you lose? An idealization of happiness? Because there was no true happiness, or else the man wouldn't be stepping out. There was no true trust, or else the man would have been transparent about his feelings about the relationship. There was no true vulnerability, because if there was, you would have felt comfortable coming to him when you were feeling unprotected in a relationship, and he would have felt comfortable listening to that conversation. And unfortunately, there is no real family, because if there was family, he would have wanted to protect it. What you're holding on to is all of these different feelings of idealization. They're feelings of, this is something I'm supposed to have. This is something I'm deserving of. But sometimes what you're deserving of is not necessarily what you have in front of you. And in order to get what you deserve, what are deserving of, you got to let go of what's in front of you. You have to really look at your situation and say, is this situation bringing me to the highest elevation of myself? Am I the most happy I will ever be in this situation? And I'm driving, guys, so if you're in the chat, I'm not responding because I'm driving. Is this the most happy I will be? Is this the happiest I've been? And what happiness is to come? And so when he leaves you for another woman, or when he steps out with another woman, Ask yourself, am I going to hold on to the pain and hurt of what I lost? Or am I going to give to myself an opportunity to find what I know I can gain? And I think the more time as women we spend on the loss and on the lack and on what we don't have, the more time we deprive ourselves of what's waiting for us just around the corner. And I think it's so easy to allow societal pressure to make you feel trapped in a situation where you're in a constant state of chasing. Like, I gotta keep this intact. I gotta keep this relationship working. I gotta figure out what I did wrong, where I went wrong, where I faltered as a woman. What would make him want to leave me? Like, what's wrong with me? But sometimes it has nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with you. Sometimes a man goes into a relationship with a woman looking for, I think TD Jakes talks about this all the time, looking for a helpmeet. A helpmeet. That's what he's looking for. And I think that women think that a helpmate to a man, especially because as Black women, we're nurturers, we're trained just genetically or like socially, we're trained to like be all we can be, hold down the fort, grind out for our man, be. We're always becoming, like, to use Michelle Obama's phrase, we're always in a state of becoming as Black women. And so when you're constantly in that hustle, in that chase, in that fight, in that run, you're not being a helpmate to your man, because this man is coming to the table saying, I want to be the leader of this family. I want to be the provider of this family. I want to be the protector of this family. I want to be the head of this household. I want to be all of these things. And you're supposed to help me, not teach me. You're not supposed to teach me. You're supposed to help me. And so when a man finds another woman, generally, it's because, and I'm not saying all the time because there's exceptions to everything, but for the most part, what triggers a man to go looking for another woman is because he's not finding that help in you. He's finding either you're too controlling, you're taking over too much, you're trying to be his competitor and not his helper, and you're not moving out of the way so that he can lead the charge. And so if he can't control his own household, if he can't control his own domain, he is going to wander. He's going to wander to a place where he feels most in control. And sometimes it's a sexual desire. Maybe he wants to be able to control how that euphoric feeling, because at the end of that, right? End of that eruption, it's a euphoria. It is bliss, right? That's what's at the end of that. And if you're not having that in your household for whatever reason, you're going to go look for that somewhere else. And so that other woman sometimes provides that relief to the man of, you weren't facilitating that for him, that helpness. You were facilitating control, a very different emotion from a man. A man does not want to compete in his own household. He does not want to be challenged in a masculine way in his own household. A man wants to lead his own household. A man wants to know that when he makes an opinion or a suggestion, that the woman who he's talking to is listening with an open ear and an open heart. A man wants to know that when he's feeling vulnerable or feeling weak, that he's not going to be stepped on in the comfort of his own home. This is a retreat for him, a solace for him. That's what a man is looking for. And when you are not, and some women don't want to admit it, it's very difficult sometimes for women to admit the flaws of our character. We all have flaws in our character as women, especially Black women, because we've been conditioned differently, right? We didn't grow up with the relaxation of generational wealth or with the relaxation of resources so that we can exist in that mindset of submission. We didn't grow up that way. We grew up in get it how you could get it, hustle hard, get as much as you can. But if you want to build a long-term marriage and a long-term relationship, you have to somehow figure out how you can leverage your husband to forego that strong emotion. You sometimes got to suppress that a little bit. And I'm not saying you got to submit to some BS. I'm not suggesting that at all, because every man is not deserving of submission. And that's where people talk about being equally yoked. That's what people talk finding your person. Every man is not worthy of submission. But when you find your person, you will willingly submit. And so if you find yourself constantly existing in this hyper masculine energy, this hyper controlling energy, this hyper my way energy, you are not with your person, because you are not relaxed. You are not submitting. You are not existing in your femininity. You are literally unequally yoked. You are unequally aligned. And so finding that center of gravity as a woman to say, if my man steps out on me, understanding that it may not have been your flaws directly, like your own flaw. You may be pretty. You may be a hard worker. You may be beautiful. You may be educated. But you may not have been feminine enough, soft enough. And so instead of seeing it as a dig, maybe see it as, is this an opportunity for me to explore other parts of my womanhood? Is this an opportunity for me to say, instead of me feeling like, instead of me feeling like I need to hold myself in competition with this other woman, maybe I need to look at myself and say, excuse me, it's so dry in here, sorry. Oh goodness. Maybe it's an opportunity for you to look at yourself and say, where can I find softness in myself? Where can I find that softness in me so that I can attract that masculine man that is meant to be yoked with me? How can I find that? And the moment you as a woman can shift your mindset around how you view that betrayal, you automatically put yourself in alignment with something so much greater than what you have today. Because it was never about you. It was never about you. You didn't lose anything, because you were never meant to be in that situation. You were never meant to be in that situation. So how can you call it a loss? How can you call it a loss? And I guarantee you that any woman that's being truly honest about the problems in her marriage or in her relationship will 150%, one way or the other, attribute it to a communication breakdown of some sort. And at the root of that breakdown, it's going to be, he thought I was to this, or I thought he was to that. I wanted him to do more. He wanted me to be more. I wanted him to be more out with this. He wanted me to be more sexy. He wanted more out of intercourse out of me. I wanted more money out of him. All of that is just unequally yoked. It's unequally yoked. Period. Because when you're with your person, everything is in rhythm. Everything is in rhythm. Everything. And that happiness radiates. And when you are equally yoked, I'm talking on full scale compatibility with the man that you are with, there is no woman who can come in and take anything away from you. But if there is a woman who does come in and takes a piece of your life from you, then you need to let her go ahead on and have him. Because that is the greatest favor she could ever do you. It's the greatest favor she could do you. Greatest favor. A man who is willing to risk everything risk his family, his livelihood, his home, his peace, his solace for another woman was never your man to begin with. And there's no way around it. There's no counter argument. There's no rebuttal. There's no pushback. That is a stone cold fact. No man with good common sense who has something to protect would ever put it at risk. Ever, 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 ever put it at risk. And instead of you internalizing that as a flaw on your behalf, instead of you internalizing that as a flaw on your behalf, instead see it as, you know what, this is the universe's way of showing me that we were unequally yoked. This is the universe's way of showing me that perhaps I'm not operating in my divine feminine. This is the universe's way of showing me that maybe there's more for me out there, and that perhaps there's more for him. And for women who have children involved, because there's a lot of women who will say, well, I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up my family. I don't want to give up what I worked hard for. I don't want to give up this family unit that I have, for the sole sake of cheating, or for the sole sake of, like, I don't want to give it up. Like, I don't want to give this up. What I would tell you is you are not helping your children by holding on to an unhappy relationship. When a man is with the right woman, and this is hard to hear, but when a man is with the right woman, he will flourish. The universe, this is my opinion, the universe is designed for the family unit to be successful. It's just designed that way. It's meant to be. Hey guys, I'm on video. I'm like in the car. But yeah, let me go back. It cut off. But yeah, StreamYard is horrible. Sorry, everybody's been having issues. It's really bad. It just literally will cut you off out of nowhere. It's been doing that for like a while. But anyhow, I was saying that when you have children, I know it's hard as a woman to be like, oh, I have kids. I don't want to hurt my family. I don't want to break up my family. But I was saying, if you have children, you are teaching your children that it's okay. It is okay to have boundaries. It is okay to not give into low vibrational emotions like fear, low vibrational, lonely, the fear of judgment, low vibrational, the fear of failing, low vibrational, the fear of not being enough, low vibrational, the fear that what you want isn't on the other side of this hiccup or of this pain, low vibrational. You are doing your children a grave disservice by staying in a toxic relationship that does not bring you joy. And I don't care what anyone says, when you are appropriately aligned, I promise you everything is easy. It is easy. When you are appropriately aligned, everything is easy. People think that relationships are supposed to be hard. Relationships are supposed to have trouble. Relationships are supposed to be toxic. Relationships are supposed to be difficult. They are not. They are not. They are not. They're just not. And I'm saying this from somebody who has seen many of relationships in my life. Ones that I've been in, ones that I've seen friends in, ones that I've seen clients in, my own life included. It is not. You have no idea how exciting it is to be in love with somebody who truly knows how to love you back, and to come home every day and just be happy and not have to worry about problems and not have to worry about stress and not have to worry about the weight of the world around you. It's blissful. It's blissful. And you get so caught up in holding on to the image of what you think love is, or the image of what you want people to think you have, or the image of what you wish you had, that you won't even look at the picture in front of you. It's like the vision in your mind is greater than the reality in front of you. And that is delusion. That's the literal definition of delusion. You as a woman have to be able to step outside of that and say, you know what? I'm powerful. You know what? I am enough. You know what? I am deserving. And while this may hurt, because it's not abnormal to be hurt. That's not abnormal. That's a normal feeling. While it may be okay to be hurt, you should lean into that hurt. Feel those emotions. But at the same time, find comfort in knowing, you know what, if this man goes out and he finds the woman he's meant to be with, he finds a woman that brings him peace, he finds a woman that brings him joy, a woman that inspires him to have a new flair and fire for life, a woman that motivates him to take action, who does that benefit in the end? That benefits your children. When a man is flourishing, that pours back into your household, whether he's in the home or not in the home. That money comes back into your household, because if he has to take care of his children, that joy that he feels comes back to your children, because he has a new light in his eyes. So now his children are vibing with him completely differently than they did before. It's a different connection. But you don't give yourself the chance to experience that joy, and you don't give your kids the chance to experience that joy, and you don't give him the chance to experience that joy. It is incredibly selfish to stay in a relationship where you two do not serve each other's highest good. It's selfish across the board. Selfish across the board. And so if he finds someone else, let her have him. Because if she's not the one, she's going to find herself in the same situation as you. And if she is the one, she'll make him a better man. And that's only going to benefit you. But holding on, strong-arming, pleading, challenging, fighting, begging, punishing, all of those low vibrational emotions will only boomerang back to you. The more you punish him for his transgression, the more you resent him for his transgression, the more you challenge him because of his transgression, you know what you're going to manifest in your life? More resentment, more hurt, and more opposition, because that is exactly what you're telling the universe that you want. That's all you'll have. Your entire life will be roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, because you refuse to let go of the one thing in your life that no longer serves you. And instead of you seeing it as an empowering tool, you see it as a negative. Like, I can't lose, or I can't be shamed, or I can't let people see that my marriage didn't work or my relationship didn't work. I can't let this be a mark against me. But no, empower yourself. Empower yourself. Imagine the triumph of saying, I let that man go, and look at him now. He would have never reached that potential had he stayed with me, because I was not his divine feminine. I could not submit to him because he didn't have the tools to be submission worthy. He was not the man. This was not that. Imagine the man he could become when he can willingly lead a home, voluntarily lead a home with power and purpose, get his life together, be faithful, be committed. Because the literally, a man who does not take care of his family cannot be rich. It is impossible. It is impossible. A man who does not protect and take care of his family, and I don't mean physically. I don't mean going out there and taking somebody out or getting in the street fighting people. No, I mean literally a man who cannot protect and provide for his family, and who does not see that as his sole focus in life. A man's sole focus in life is that. Sole focus in life should be protect and provide for my family in the most streamlined way possible. And then when he reaches that level of focus, he will be abundantly blessed. I don't mean that I'm not a big LeBron James fan, but I'm going to use him as an example. You can even use Steph Curry as an example. The level of devotion and focus these men, and I don't know what's going on in the comforts of their own marriage. I'm just saying from outside looking in what my perception is. The level of devotion and focus that these men have on their marriages, even Kobe Bryant. I know when he was younger, he stepped out with that woman and there was some scandal, but God bless his soul. After that transgression, when he locked in on his family, LeBron, Kobe, Steph Curry, they lock in on their women. Look at how abundant their families are. Look at how abundant their wives are. That is divine alignment. That level of focus, when you focus, and everybody's not going to be a millionaire. Everybody's not going to be LeBron and Kobe and be rich and all that. I'm not saying everybody's going to get that level of money, but having more than enough is still more than enough. And when you focus like that and you align like that, it's more than enough. And your family will flourish in the way that it's meant to. But you hold on to the other side of that. And I can guarantee you, almost guarantee there are limited exceptions to the rule. Limited exceptions to the rule. But for the most part, it will not work. And there will be years of grief and strife ahead. Toxicity and problems and arguing and drama. And when a man does not feel safe in his home, it's nothing but trouble. When a woman does not feel safe in her bed, it ain't nothing but trouble. Because a woman who ain't safe in her bed ain't going to open her legs. And when a woman who ain't safe in her bed don't open her legs, that man is going to go out there and find somebody who will. But that vulnerability starts with him. It starts with him and with you. The environment got to be conducive for procreation. It has to be. So that's some food for thought for ladies. Who know me. I like to, once I have my sessions and I come back and I like to bring the conversation to you guys, because you never know what people are going through. So if you've been struggling, if you lost a relationship, you caught your man cheating, your marriage is falling apart, take this as some food for thought. And say, you know what, is this a reflection of me, or is this just a reflection of us being unequally yoked? Am I going to let this situation define me, or will I let it empower me? Because the choice is yours. And your outcome, your next life, your next relationship, your environment will be a direct reflection of how you choose to handle those emotions. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for checking into the live, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.